This is the first panel. It's going to be about the age of intelligence. My name is Feres. I'm the organizer of CryptoHop Malta. It's the blockchain native community in Malta. But really, I'm an evangelist at heart. I love technology, and this is why I'm super excited to be here today, where we are going to talk about the age of intelligence with Angelo Dalli and Danielle from TRIIONFT. I'll make a brief introduction to them in a second, but before we start, let's set the frame. Gentlemen, please have a seat.
Thank you.
I will sit in the middle, I think it's best,
right.
So I can moderate between the two of you. It will be a discussion, and there will be a chance for you to ask questions in the end. So if there's something that you're curious about, do not hesitate. There will be a microphone, right, that you can have to ask questions and interact with them. Now, you might be wondering, what is the age of intelligence, right? Isn't that a bit strange? Don't we live in the industrial age or the age of information? What is really the difference? And for that, I have a little tale. It's the tale of two young fishes, swimming in the ocean. And maybe we are all like those two fishes. They swim, and an older fish comes along and swims the other direction. And on the way, he nods at them and says, "Good morning, boys. How's the water?" The two young fish, they swim along, and they look at each other, and then eventually the one fish says to the other, "What the hell is water?" Because they don't know that they are surrounded by water all the time. And it's the same with us. We are surrounded by technology all the time. I'm having my phone in my hand, not to chat or to post something on social media, but it's actually for the moderation and for some question. But I don't even notice it's there anymore, or my watch, or the projector, or the microphone. We are surrounded by technology, and this is what we used to call the age of information. But right now, with what we used to call data mining when I was a kid, today we call it artificial intelligence, or AI, we really use this to have real-world implementation of it. And this is why I say to you now, welcome to the age of intelligence. So, let's get right into it. Angelo Dalli is an AI expert. He has a background with more than 20 years, 25 years.
20 years, yeah.
20 years, but he's also a serial entrepreneur, a tech entrepreneur, and he's one of the sharks of the Maltese version of Shark Tank. So I'm super excited to have him here. First question goes to you. AI, artificial intelligence, what is it really all about?
That's a very good question, and the question that I get asked all the time. So AI can be, defined very quickly as a way of making machines learn and adapt to new situations, new data that's coming in, learn from data, learn by observing cause and effect, learn by observing the world, and actually coming to a conclusion, generalizing to something that they didn't know before. That is kind of the definition in a nutshell. Now, there are lots of people who have lots of different definitions of what is intelligence, and it may come as a surprise that AI itself, even the term, has existed since the 50s. So it's not something new. It's just that the world has kind of now discovered it more thanks to OpenAI, ChatGPT. Everyone knows what AI is all about. But 20 years ago, when people were telling me, like, what is AI? What are you doing? Why don't you go into, high-speed financial trading? I did have to actually explain what AI is all about. And, so this is something that I think is very interesting. Alan Turing, who actually invented a lot of the computing algorithms, computing systems that we use, had called them thinking machines. That was his kind of imagination. This was like just after World War II. And he started thinking about, okay, how can we make machines think? And this is how all the field of AI has started. And it is also interesting, a lot of the algorithms, a lot of the systems have been around for many years. It's just that we didn't have the hardware to do this, we didn't have the data to do this, we didn't have the software and actually systems to run them on. My first AI system was built in 1997. It was face recognition. We had to take photos and go and process them, and actually scan them in to train the systems. Obviously, that didn't really go far. Now, 20 years after, it is much, much more improved, and I'm happy to have such interest actually in what I do.
We really have come full circle. I would say, as an AI layman, because AI technology is actually something that you, Daniel, work with at TRIIONFT. You're building live casinos in the metaverse, but with AI.
Exactly.
So tell us about that.
So basically, we were thinking how to bring the live dealers into the metaverse. That was the main task, because without the real humans in the metaverse, it's not really live experience. And we started investigating different AIs and different libraries like OpenCV, OpenPose, etc. And we managed to develop the body tracking software, which is basically tracking humans' bodies very detailed, like with a pinpoint accuracy, every finger movement, face expressions, voice recognition, everything. At the same time, we are developing the metaverse with the casino table games logic in it. And two softwares, basically AI and the metaverse, are connected. So like that, we're bringing live casinos and their studios into the metaverse. So technically speaking, they're dealers. They can deal the cards in their live casino studios, and their avatar will do the same in the metaverse. So it's a true life experience in the metaverse powered by AI.
I love this so much, because what we have here, we have like a pioneer from 1997 in AI that was like playing around 25 years ago with like analog pictures, right?
Yeah.
That you then were feeding into an AI.
Digitized.
And now we're full circle. We have someone who's like creating avatars. So we go from a real human to an artificial avatar with AI. It's crazy. And I think many of you have heard about AI, and you must be wondering, what are those wizards actually talking about? And I will ask that question for you. Is this really real, or is it just hype? Where are we going with this?
Another very good question. Because lately there has been so much hype, especially with ChatGPT, people thinking that AI is almost sentient and that it thinks. First of all, to clarify, ChatGPT or other systems do not think. They do not think, they do not understand the world. They actually do not have some kind of model of the world and understanding as we humans actually know about it. And this is a big misconception that people have. I'm super excited, for example, about this, the new development in spatial computing in the metaverse, and also having, like the spatial headsets that finally maybe are actually getting somewhere to something that is actually a usable experience. Having used AI, I was one of the early pioneers in the gaming industry that actually introduced AI in gaming platforms. So, for example, having automated bonus systems that could actually match players with different offers and create even tailored bonus systems and bonuses for them in real time. That was an early use of AI. This was, I think, more than 10 years ago, in fact. It was something that actually was very revolutionary at the time. Now a lot of platforms actually start offering this. So I can see that, that's the real stuff, the real applications. I think the real applications are more mundane than people think. There is a danger with the hype. I mean, we've seen it in a lot of other things, when it comes to blockchain, Web3 and all that. I mean, there was a lot of hype, unfortunately, which fizzled out to nothing. I think AI has already had two other hype cycles. So one was in the 80s, actually, when the Japanese had poured like millions and millions actually into AI, but they were just too early into it, and they didn't have the right systems. Deep learning did not exist back then, so it didn't scale up. And also in the 90s, people tried it again and failed again. So this is kind of the third time that humanity is trying actually to do this. And each time in the last two attempts, just the hype, reality did not match the hype, and a lot of people were disillusioned and abandoned AI. What I think is going to be different this time around is that the systems are actually they're delivering value. So I think while there is still a lot of hype, I think it is matched more by actual performance. So I don't think that this time around is actually hype. There is hype, but I think we will have AI as a permanent component of the ecosystem forever. I don't think the world is going to go back.
Yeah, I mean, I believe, like, if we speak about the hype in general, so it's like the real time of hype, and it will just grow more and more, because before, the AI, the tool, wasn't shared to people. I mean, it wasn't that public to everybody. Like today, for me, even if I'm not from the industry and not using AI every day, just to try it, I need to make few clicks. Like, just great example, I tried it a few days ago. We all know Siri, the virtual assistant on Apple products, I managed to integrate ChatGPT into Siri.
Yeah.
So basically now, Siri speaking is smart as ChatGPT. And to do that, I don't need to be a developer. I mean, now, to try AI, it's few minutes. You open ChatGPT, you gave the tasks, you have the code. Definitely because of that, I believe it will bring more and more entrepreneurs in the businesses. Like, again, I'm not a dev, but I'm coding on C++ with ChatGPT right now.
Yeah,
so.
but also you're the CEO of TRIIONFT, and this is like, are you going to be the next?
ChatGPT, but
No, but are you going to be the next Japanese from the 80s, or is it like this time it's different? Third time is the charm. Where are we going with this?
I mean, AI will just. There are going to be more and more tools based on AI, more and more products, and I believe the real hype we will have it like in a year, because we will have more tools for people.
Well, from the way I see it, I mean, I literally see something new literally like every day or two. I was joking actually last week. We were doing this project in which we were digitizing actually for the metaverse. Here in Malta, if you haven't seen it, there's like this very nice Baroque church called St. John's Cathedral, and it's like very, very detailed. And to do like a complete model of that with millimeter precision so that you can do a walkthrough and stuff, it takes actually a lot of effort. And we were joking, like, I was mentioning a paper that was published like a week ago. It was like, oh yeah, it has been published such a long time ago. That was like 5 days ago. So sometimes time is actually going so fast and new things are, that it's actually difficult to keep up with what's happening. An example, for example, about the metaverses, you can just maybe a year ago, you could have taken a photo of something and, just change the look and feel with the prompt and, you create a nice image. Nowadays, like around 6 months ago, you could take that same image and start creating like a 3D model just from 1 or 2 photos. Now, you can do that in 3D with shadows and lighting and real-time animation. And this has been just in under a year. And so you could already start imagining like how this stuff is going to happen if we have everyone with headsets capturing 3D content, for example, and this is right now we have a lack of 3D content created by people, just like I had a lack of photos in the 90s created by people. Once that happens, it's going to feed, what we call the flywheel. So the flywheel that actually generates more data, generates better models generate better AI, and we get better applications. And the stuff that you're talking about, for example, LangChain, you have also this automated GPT systems. It's actually quite easy. You can, in fact, download them. You can, with a little bit of technical knowledge, you still need a little bit of technical knowledge, but not that much. And you can actually create your own interface, which actually plugs in and does the stuff, which before may have taken like 6 months of development. Which is amazing, actually. And even in the creative industries, even for the gaming industry, I know some people who literally took something that took them 6 months to do. And they are doing it in like 3 days or less, which is amazing boost in productivity.
I mean, that's the main difference, because I just agreeing with what you said. Because for you to train the model, for example, for face recognition, you said like you were taking pictures, you were training the model. For us to do the same, we just need to download pre-trained models, which is already there, a lot of different types of them from different libraries, and it's like plug and play. Of course, you still need to know the technical part in the back end, but it saves you 6 months or maybe even more.
Angelo, you said you can all imagine where this is going, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to address the elephant in the room. Like, well, are we all going to die or what? No. Like, where is this going? I cannot imagine where this is going. But you're both telling me, this is like really picking up speed. So let's talk about it. We all going to die?
No, definitely not. I think there's a lot of hype about this, like a lot of scaremongering, like the hype mongers, including, unfortunately, some people who are pretty influential in AI. There are a lot of people who say that they are AI experts when they just read about AI like a few months ago and all of a sudden became experts. Please don't listen to those people. Like, actually check that they have, spent a few years at least working in AI. But the ones that have been actually sometimes are maybe exaggerating the fears a little bit. So, again, ChatGPT is not conscious, does not have any path to actually become conscious ever, basically. So it is a fundamental limit of the architecture. Like up till now, people do not know how to make an AI that is actually like super intelligent. There's no known path actually to do that. And a lot of people hype it up. I think that the future is going to be more mundane. I think the way I see it, for example, for the gaming industry, I think that there will be, for example, a customer success manager who's going to create like a super, super well thought out and super well executed, for example, bonus campaign. Which you'll have like tailored promotions, tailored campaigns, customer support, for example, that you'll have customer support done by AI and done like to perfection. This kind of stuff, I think this is the more mundane but more practical applications. So I do see that there will be, for example, entire casinos that are online that are run by just a very few people, for example. Even when the creative, for example, games that are actually customized according to a person, that even the graphics are actually tailored to that particular person. So this is the way that I see the future. No, the robot killers and stuff, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Oh, what do you mean? Customer support that is perfect. That's something to die for. But you are also addressing a point that is very relevant for you, like that you have perfect models of humans that can pretend that they're humans. So this is what you have in the metaverse, right?
Exactly. I mean, you still can say that this is the avatar, of course. But if we get back to the questions, is that dangerous in general, the AI, are we going to die or not? We're definitely not going to die because, I mean, it's simple. It's coding and math. You can restrict AI with your backend. You can program it and basically make it work for specific tasks, as ChatGPT is working. And there's a lot of cases when ChatGPT is sharing the API, where you can get the API of ChatGPT and make it work for your personal tasks. It can be a customer support as an NPC in the games or whatever. If we speak about our avatars, so here, our case is not to replicate or move humans from the industry or make them lose their job. We're bringing humans into the metaverse with AI. So it's helping us to bring humans into the Web3 space.
Definitely. In fact, in my vision of AI, and this is something that I always try to push people working in the field, is that AI should be used as a tool that doesn't replace people, but makes people more productive, more efficient, and maybe have more free time to actually enjoy ourselves. So I want to have the AI working for me, and I can actually enjoy myself. This is, I think, the ultimate goal. But someone has to build it, and I don't think we are at that stage. But what I think is the problem, actually, I don't fear AI. I fear the people who actually use AI. Just like guns don't kill people. I mean, people kill people with guns. It's the same thing. AI can be used as a tool for good, but you can also use it as a tool for bad. So there are these things that need to be addressed, like misinformation, all the misinformation, entire companies, operating from Northern Macedonia and other places, for example, that are set up by maybe shady countries, in fact, that are deliberately doing this stuff. It's not like accidental, but there is actually a deliberate program of doing this. This is actually, I think, bad. Taking, if you take a gun, attach it to a robot, and teach the AI to shoot people, you're asking for trouble. So that's something that it is obvious, like we should not go down that path, but if people start going down that path, that is obviously going to lead to problems. But that's something that I think existing law can actually prevent. I mean, as a society, we need to kind of decide, okay, what can you do? If don't put a gun to a robot and train it to shoot people. So I think, like I said, AI itself does not have any objective. It doesn't want to do anything, actually. It does what you tell it to do, and this is something that we can control.
Could you maybe come up with some constructive examples of AI for iGaming that does not involve killing robots?
Yeah, you want to say that?
I mean, again, if we say from my experience, it's what we are doing, right? We, as I mentioned before, bringing live dealers into the metaverse. But really, AI can be used for many different tasks. I mean, even for the casinos where they are not bringing live dealers, it can be used to control the NPC dealer. So basically the pre-animated...
The non-playable characters.
Yeah, exactly. Like for the dealing the cards, it can react more realistic on some scenarios during the round. So, I mean, the scenarios are unlimited. But like a huge example for the iGaming industry, I think it all stays on the stages of SEO and stuff like that. There is not something what we can really see in the metaverse or during the round.
Also for data
so far. But I will show you soon.
Oh, there are so many things. So, for example, when it comes to campaign management, to tailoring the bonuses, when tailoring customer support, for example, even how to show, what games to show, how to match. How to, in real time, actually show what is relevant to one particular player. I think real-time customization is going to become even more and more of a thing. Why? Because even if you take traditional slot games, like imagine being able to change the characters, change the gameplay slightly, not changing the mechanics of the system, but just changing the look and feel to match that person. If in the metaverse, if I have a virtual dealer, it is psychologically known that, if someone is mirroring your own actions, you are going to feel a little bit more, friendly towards them. So having that avatar rather than, like doing the usual stuff that they do online, actually trying to see your web feed and actually mirroring you a little bit, for example. So there are all these little techniques that can be done and that you couldn't actually really do even a year ago. It would have been just too expensive, to get an army of designers to do, 100 shades of, the same suit or dress or whatever. But now you can actually do it. So I think this is going to open up new ways of doing things that were just too expensive to do before.
But regarding the designs, if I can just add, there's a lot of conversations and like people complaining, especially designers, that AI basically is using something which is already created by someone, because AI is not generating the unique designs. It's taking few different and putting them together. So this is the question from the designers, and as I know, they're complaining about the copyrights. You can't really say that this is your asset, but technically, really and truly, it's someone's asset.
Well, when you see, for example, if you're training the AI also, maybe again, more mundane stuff, training it on the transactional data, the private transactional data. So one of the problems, obviously, with GPT systems is that they make stuff up. And they are not accurate. So while they produce very nice stuff on text and also images, if you try to rely on them, for example, to do player lifetime value calculations, like you're going to be in a world of trouble if you rely on those kind of systems. So the more traditional forms of AI are actually better suited than the kind of newer, shiny thing. However, training that, for example, let's say training partially something that works on your transactional data and on the customer interactions and customer support, that is, I think, the key. I think what is actually really interesting at the moment, taking your publicly pre-trained models and adding your own private stuff to it, which only you can actually access. And I think this is what is going to give operators a cutting edge, because that will make it impossible to replicate by any other service. So I imagine a world when people use the same base models and then they customize it for their own use.
We are slowly coming to an end. I have one closing question that I just have to ask because we are here at iGaming Next, the techNEXT, the technology part of it, but still the crowd is probably curious on how to know who will be the winner and who will be the loser in the gaming industry when AI enters the field. How do you see AI and machine learning? Sorry, that was the wrong question. Who in iGaming will be the winner and losers from the rise of these new technologies? I'm talking about metaverse, I'm talking about AI, and I'm talking about data analytics. You going to go first?
Sure.
And then there will be questions from the audience after they're done with the last reply here. So,
sure. So I believe there is no losers in general, because as we mentioned before, AI was invented to help people, first of all. If we speak about the industry like in iGaming, so again, it will help to the operators and B2B providers create more new stuff, new technologies, new tools for the players. From the players, and exactly the same, basically it can open the doors for the new experience for them. There's only positive ways of implementation of AI in the iGaming, and not only in the iGaming, I would say to anything. before we put it in the robot with a gun, of course.
But iGaming is front-running the opportunity as one of the first industries really looking into this.
Exactly, and iGaming as well able to invest in technologies because so far we have a lot of like we have few metaverses like Decentraland, Sandbox with different entertainments but iGaming in general, the most famous now is Decentraland with their table games. Life experience doesn't exist yet. Yep. So casinos are looking for the ways how to enter the metaverse with their live dealers for sure. I mean, at least from our research, we know that. And here's the AI, which is a tool.
Yeah. Angelo, how is technology going to change the landscape in the iGaming industry?
Definitely. I think it's going to be more democratizing, actually, and making it more accessible. So, for example, making content more accessible in the user's own language, for example. I think having more diversity, more tailoring. I mean, you know, the long tail, it's going to cater for the right part of the long tail, going to cater to more users, say, specifically. And I think about the winners and losers, to me, it's a very easy question. I think the winners are those who are going to use AI. The losers are going to be those that don't. It's a very clear thing. You will not be able, it's like, you know, in the Industrial Revolution, if someone, you know, like making, I don't know, a shirt, like traditionally, they would never be able to compete against mass production and, you know, like industrial processes. So it's going to be the same thing. Those that don't use AI are going to lose out to those that use.
There you have it, guys. So, anyone has a question to our esteemed panelist? There will be a microphone somewhere. Put up your hand. There will be 1 or 2 questions. Question there. Microphone is coming to you. Introduce yourself and come with a short question, please.
Hi, my name is Dragan. I'm from Gaming Innovation Group. I have a question regarding like the recent rise of AI and everything. And like you see everyday articles like that of and like insert position or anything like that. So do you see like I don't want to say the end, but like let's say a drop down in use of like traditional casinos, like the land casinos, and moving towards the metaverse and use of AI?
Oh, definitely, totally. Sure. I see like a complete extinction actually of those that do not use AI actually, and I think that more will move online into the metaverse. I'm sure you have a better also insight into this.
100% agree. I mean, AI is. If I could, I will implement it everywhere.
There's the second and last question over there on the right side.
We always discuss AI from the supplier perspective, the operator, the designer. What about the player? From the individual player?
Yeah, I mean, here basically.
Not metaverse, AI.
Okay, I mean, still like. Metaverse and AI in our case is connected. So if we speak about the player with AI, we can provide like as well new experience because as I said, around in the metaverse, apart from the table games, there can be developed a lot of entertainment, right? So let's say instead of offering people just go with the keyboard and mouse into the metaverse and play blackjack, for example, they can use VR and because and there can be added some features based on AI. I mean, we are not developing them for the players because we are specifying on iGaming industry. But if we speak about the things like ChatGPT, for example, right? It's already can help to players in the metaverses because it can be like again customer support NPC in the game, for example.
I think that from the player perspective, again, it's going to lead to better personalization and I think to a better experience because the AI is going to adapt better to what you like and what you don't like. So, you know, it is going to lead to a better experience. There is a little bit of the danger that it will lock you into this content filter, this bubble, the so-called filter bubble. And it is a real danger. I think that though people will figure out ways of kind of randomizing the experience a little bit, occasionally throwing something that you're not sure if they like or dislike, and then see if they, you know, go on or not. And so I think that this is going to be a better actually experience for everyone, both for the supplier and also for the user. So,
I think that's it. Maybe one closing remark. As I've learned in this discussion, if you liked the Industrial Revolution where we went from horses to cars, you're gonna love AI and the age of intelligence. Thank you very much. And we are going to continue with the next panel now.